You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. So if you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Tonight I'm coming back at you into the Let's Play episode of Lucas's Path, Violet Memoir. So it's kind of late. I just got home from work and I'm ready to make a little bit of content for you guys before I chill out. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Guys, please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes while I entertain you, and let's jump right in. Lawrence, and you're up, and let's go. Okay. Ho! Are we actually doing that nickname? Lee just shrugs and doesn't respond. Instead, someone else does.
Listen, meathead, yesterday you basically rubbed up against Wallace. I'm good, and I'm pretty sure Lee is too.
I don't like being touched.
See?
Boo! You guys are no fun! Nothing wrong with a little fun between the bros, right? No one reacts to that one, leaving only a poignant deadpan silence. With no one playing along, he gives up the charade and turns his focus onto me. He's got a mischievous look in his eye that has me worried. What about you, Wallace? You gotta give me a nickname, too?
What?
Come on, man. Everyone else has. You gotta give me one, too. I consider pointing out that Lucas wasn't exactly giving him a nickname and was just insulting him. Then again, Oscar doesn't really seem to mind being insulted. He just finds it hilarious. I don't know. I like Oscar. It's fitting and fun. I like calling you that. That catches him off guard for some reason. Is that a bashful expression on his face? I must be more tired than I thought. Ha, jeez, man. You're gonna make me blush. Alright, you can call me Oscar.
That's your name. It's expected he'd use that anyway. You're exceedingly dense. Well, let's take our seats.
Lily seems to quickly interject into their bickering. She leans over and whispers into my ear, "It's free real estate."
Before someone says something they can't take back. So!
She's suddenly much louder and unfortunately still next to my ear. Leaning away from her so I don't lose my hearing, I managed to catch the rest of it at least at a reasonable level.
Where do you want to sit, Wallace? I'd best decide fast. Looks like class will start soon.
Wow, the music's a little bit loud. There we go. There. Sit next to Lucas. I walk up to the fox. He's looking very tense. His hands are clenching and unclenching, his claws running along the fur on his arms.
You doing okay?
He doesn't raise his head, his eyes drilling holes into the table.
Yeah, fine. Wish I wasn't here.
Yeah, I know. I thought you could use the company. It seems to have cheered you up on Monday. This time he does raise his head. His eyes are soft, liking that sharp edge when I ran into him the first time.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
He speaks with a quiet voice. It's barely above a whisper. Looking him over, I can see just how uncomfortable he is. His eyes are always looking down or directly at one of us, like he's trying not to see the rest of the class. His body is very tense, even though it looks like he's just trying to hide it. And not just his hands, but everything. His legs are pressing firmly against the ground, and his ears or tail aren't moving at all. Do you want to try talking to the professor? They definitely let you out if they realize that being in school upsets you. He shakes his head, but it's barely emotion at all. It's really sad seeing him so demure. It's like this place sucks the energy out of him.
No, that'll be unfair to everyone else. Plus, I still need to do my part for my grade, too.
You sure? You don't seem very okay. You're a lot more contained than normal.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get upset and snap at everyone. I know they aren't bad people, and they don't deserve it.
But we all understand that you don't mean anything bad by it, if it makes you feel better.
Stop. I don't like being like this. I just want to do this class and get out. Can't we just do that?
Yeah, sorry. But I don't think you should be that hard on yourself. I can't say that, though. If he wants to change, who am I to stop him? He gives me that sad smile again, pulling out the chair next to him.
Please, don't be. You're trying, and that's comfort enough.
As soon as I sit in his offered chair, a lot of the tension releases from his body. He's still not comfortable, but he already looks better than when I first walked in. His tail is flicking around behind him, bursting to life. It really does show off his mood well. Dead still when he's upset, but overactive when he's happy. It's not perfect, but this tells me that his mood has improved at least. If me being here helps, then that's all I can ask for. Okay, students, quiet down. The room goes silent almost instantly, everyone turning their face to the professor. It's a bit awkward with Lucas in my line of sight, so I try to lean back to see behind him. What are you cats doing? Being silly. I think he notices since he leans forward onto the table, letting me see over him. His arms are crossed under his head with his chin resting on them. He looks back at me with a smile for a second, his tail flicking. There's a life to him that I've never have seen if I didn't try to get to know him.
I'll pass a sign-in sheet around, then we'll get started.
I'm barely able to pay attention, my eyes straining to focus on the professor. My short nap definitely wasn't enough. At least we're finally discussing things with our groups. I don't think I could focus on the professor for a moment longer. Liz regurgitating what I told her earlier, but it just sounds like white noise to me. I feel something brush along my back and I arch my spine instinctively, nearly bumping the table in the process. Looking behind me, I can see it's a fox's tail. Oh my god. Hello. What a wonderful thumbnail. Lucas must be trying to get my attention. The look on his face is anxious and his eyes are full of worry. That's some gorgeous art. Oh my god. He's still leaning on the desk, his head resting on his arms. He does turn his head so he can speak to me easier.
If you sit like this, you can hide it easier if you fall asleep. No, it's fine. I'd rather stay up.
He ponders that for a while, his lips pursing. His eyes begin to look distant and he stares at the table. Eventually they flick back up to me and he gives me his response.
I'd feel much more comfortable if you do this with me. It's awkward to talk to you when you're sitting up, and I'd prefer seeing as little of this place as possible.
I know he's just trying to force me to get into a position where I can rest, but he's asking for help. I can't turn him down. With a sigh, I lean down next to him, but my scrawny arms aren't exactly the best for resting on. It's like trying to sleep on tree branches or twigs. He notices my discomfort and does something I would never have assumed someone who gets shy at the drop of attention would do. His tail comes up between my arms, through the gap created by my chest and the table. It lies softly on the top of my arms, and I can't help but stare at him. A blush is visible through his fur, and he has a bashful smile on his face. It's really cute for someone so aggressive.
My, tail is really soft. My parents tell me all the time when they pet it.
His eyes widen as he realizes he let something a bit personal slip, but he doesn't let that stop him. His blush and the color of his inner ears just go a deeper shade of pink.
So, rest your head on it. It'll be a good pillow.
With my own bashful nod, no real words coming into my thoughts, I rest my chin on his tail onto his tail. It really is soft, softer than any pillow I've ever laid my head on. There's no more talking between us, but his mood and flicking the tip of his tail are showing me that he's in a much better mood. He seems to have calmed down a lot with me next to him. Time passes by slowly. The chatter around me is muffling to an indecipherable collection of noises. I want to go home, and pass out as soon as possible. Barely any time must have passed, though, since Lily hasn't asked for my input on the diary yet. Instead of a blissful end of class, my phone buzzes against my leg. I don't remember setting it to vibrate. I must have done it without thinking. I pull it out of my pocket. It's a text, but my eyes can't focus on the name. Opening the message, it displays only 2 words and the name of the sender. I'm sorry. I feel nauseous. It's as if a bucket of ice-cold water's been dumped on me. All my fur bristles, and I'm suddenly very aware and uncomfortable about where I am. I can't be here. I need to leave. Now! Panic begins to surge in me, and I stand up, almost knocking over the chair as I do.
Well, wait! Wallace! Was I making you uncomfortable?
I don't stop to say anything. I just keep heading towards the exit.
Where are you going? Wallace!
I shove the door open, and you're slamming it with how much of a hurry I'm in. But I can't even bring myself to give a shit about that. Before I know it, I'm right in front of the stairwell. Everything is so surreal right now. It feels like reality's collapsing around me, like it's trying to crush me into paste. Not wanting to spend another second here, I take the first step before I'm suddenly interrupted by my phone again. Opening it up, I'm instantly greeted by that same message. I'm sorry. Suddenly there's a cracking sound. My phone lays half broken on the ground, screen completely dead and disembodied from my phone. My claws dig into my hands. I'm clenching them so hard I almost stab myself. My breathing is deep and heavy, panting like I've run a marathon. Turning away again, I run up 5 more steps before a horrific noise catches my attention again. It's my ringtone, except there's something very, very wrong. The noise is stretching out, distorting itself beyond recognition to something sinister. It's painful and grotesque. I don't turn around, though. I can't move at all. That's when something more horrific happens. The stairs in front of me are changing. They stretch upwards. No, that's wrong. It's like it's gaining more steps, getting higher and higher. What? What the fuck? As it grows taller, it curves around into a spiral. I still can't move. It's like I'm being held in place by an impossible force. Not only that, but the stairs material changes? Even the ones below me are shifting, changing from lino to wood? It doesn't just change, but ropes appear to be wrapping around each plank. And there are definitely planks now. I can see the floor and the gaps between the stairs. Even the handrail I'm clutching onto has rope now twisted around it. I don't understand what's happening.
It keeps twisting and growing until I'm looking straight up at the now spiral staircase. I can't even see the top. Turning around, I go to head back inside the classroom before noticing that the door is now missing. The wall is now instead smooth with no indication that there ever was a door to begin with. That awful sensation increases, like the world is actively mocking me. Am I hallucinating? Have I finally lost my mind? I thought things could get more horrific. My eyes are drawn to the ground. My phone is still sitting there, but only for a second. Then the ground underneath it falls. There's no other way to describe it. It just falls away, drops into some kind of black void. And the hole grows too until the entire floor is broken away. Now the only place to stand on is the stairs. I'm gripping onto the handrail tightly. My legs are completely trembling, tears welling up in my eyes. What's going on? Hello? Can anyone hear me? There's no response at all. Lucas! Anyone? I'm alone, but I'm not allowed to wallow in my stupor for long as a new noise fills my ears. The sound of wood breaking. Looking down once again, I see movement on the bottom step. The bottom step is cracking before my eyes. It breaks away and drops into the dark abyss below. Panic resurfaces to the forefront of my brain as I'm already moving. The sound of heavy steps echoes out into the darkness as I bolt up the stairs. That awful sound of wood snapping continues, much faster and louder this time. I don't look back. It's catching up on me. I can't afford to slow down. I'm past what would have been the top of the building, the walls that have stopped running alongside the stairs. The world is just darkness. It's hopelessly empty. The only thing that I can see are the stairs ahead of me, and all I can hear are my footsteps and the cracking behind me. Said cracking is getting closer and closer. I'm feeling well beyond out of breath already. My legs are screaming, and I can feel like I could pass out any second. The cracking is right behind me now. It won't be much longer till I don't even want to think about it. Just a bit above me, I can make out a dark mass on the top of the stairs. I must be close to wherever this leads. My heart feels like it's going to burst out of my chest, both from fear and exhaustion. I'm not even paying attention to what's in front of me anymore. I'm just running, and my foot goes to lift up. The plank below it cracks and falls, and I'm suddenly lurched forward. Instead of falling against wooden planks or into the deep abyss, I hit solid ground. I can't move for a while. I can only lie there in exhaustion. My body is extremely sore. A prickling sensation stabs through my entire lower body. It feels like I can't breathe, each gasp only giving me so much air. After what feels like hours of just panting on the ground, I finally can move again. I wrestle my body back to my feet, my legs still feeling a bit wobbly but aren't aching much anymore, despite my rest likely only being a few minutes. Looking around, my surroundings are familiar but warped. It's the same hallway I just came from to get to the stairwell, except now the floors and walls are covered in what looks like rope and the floors are made out of wood. Oof. Oh, 1 second, guys. Oh, that took a lot out of me. Oh, I'm already tired of going at that pace. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm good. Just got a little lightheaded. Oh, man. I was really going a mile a minute there. Walking through the corridor, I can't help but want to scream. I wish I knew what was happening. If it was a hallucination, surely something would have happened to me by now. I would have walked into a wall or something. A voice echoes around, and it nearly startles me into sprinting away again. Wallace? It's a pained whine, and that somber, high-pitched voice is familiar. It's Lucas. His voice sounded strained and like he was in pain. What's happening? Before I can really process what I'm hearing, my surroundings shift again. It changes to what looks like a school, more specifically a corridor filled with lockers. Just as quickly as it changed the first time, it shifts back. Lucas, are you there? What's wrong? I yell out with all my strength, my throat feeling hoarse from all the breathing. When no response happens, I have to hold back the growing feeling of panic welling in my chest. Who knows what might happen if I stay around here? I gotta keep moving. Before too long, I spot something in the distance. A door. Running up to it, there's a room number clearly written across the top. Room 004, the same room I just came from. Underneath it is smaller writing. It's rough, like it's been scratched into the metal. Come inside. There's an awful feeling in my chest, hinting that this will be a very big mistake. Calming my nerves, I pull down on the handle, slowly opening the door. The loud squeaking of the door only adds to the dread in the air. The room is dark, but there's enough light from the hallway coming in to let me see what's inside. The entire middle of the room is missing. There's just a walkway going around the perimeter of the room. Well, the entire center isn't missing. In the very middle of the room is a platform, raised higher than the rest of the room. On closer inspection, it's actually multiple platforms stacked on top of each other. They're all connected to the same support beam behind them. Looks like there's 10 platforms in total in the pile. On the top of the highest platform is a horror unlike anything I've ever seen. A person stands there with their arms tied behind their back. Their feet are tied together as well. I can't even see their tail behind them. The most horrific part is that over their head is what looks like a potato sack. The most horrific, and what looks like a noose around their neck. What are you cats doing? A noose around their neck. It's a gallows. My blood turns to complete ice and my body moves before I'm able to think. I enter the room without a moment's hesitation. Oh my god, holy fuck, are you okay? Can you hear me? The only response I get is a panicked, muffled sound. Must be gagged. The sound of gears turning begins to fill the room. I'm not sure what's happening, but I can already tell it's bad. I run around the entire perimeter of the room, but there's no platform connecting directly to the center. But... Knock it off, you little cat. I see you. Stop hanging on to there. No, knock that off. Silly cat. What I do find is a folded-down platform on the back of the center support beam that must connect to the back part of the walkway when lifted. As I investigate, a loud snapping sound startles me and I almost lose my footing. When I run back around to where I started, I see the platform at the very bottom of the gallows folded down. The sound of the gear starts up again, and it's only now where I realize that they ended when the snapping sound happened. It must be rigged to drop the platforms one at a time. Oh shit. Whoever's on top platform is hysteric now. They're thrashing in their bindings with no avail. I'll get you down, I swear! Now that I take my focus away from the center, I notice something on the ground at the edge of the walkway in front of the door. It's a little box with a keyhole and some writing across the top. Emergency stop. Can you save them, Wallace? A sense of dread fills my chest. I have to ignore it for now, even if it is talking to me directly. It's supposed to be the way to stop the platforms from falling. It has to be. But the key isn't anywhere around here. Where the fuck is it? That awful snapping sound happens again, and I see another platform is dropped. There's only 8 left. It seems one drops every minute, if I had to guess. Checking the rest of the room, there doesn't look to be any key or anything that can even contain one. It's just an empty room. Quickly, I rush out of the room and run further down the hall. I am vehemently on the lookout for anything out of place. It's something that might be a key or contain one. Anything! The sound of the platform snapping in makes me run as fast as I can, almost tripping as I bolt down the hallway. My legs begin to burn again, but I ignore them. I feel like I've ran more today than I've ran in my entire life. My heart has never pumped this hard or fast before. I'm about to lose all hope when I see that something is in the distance. It's another door. Almost slamming into it, I grab the door handle and yank it open. As it opens, I catch a glimpse of the plaque across the top. Maintenance closet. There's also some smaller writing below it, another awful message directed at me. Will you let him die, Wally? Rushing into the doorframe, I'm greeted by a relieving sight. A key! I'm sitting on a table near the far wall. I'm about to step inside when I register the rest of the room. It's completely floorless, save for a small section where the table sits and one long plank that connects to to the door. The plank looks to be in a bad state. It's decaying and about to completely fall apart. I wouldn't be surprised if it broke any second on its own, let alone if I'm walking on it. The length of the room is longer than my dorm's bedroom. But I can't just leave them to hang. I've got to save them. I need to save them. I don't have to think about this. I don't have to think this out. No matter what, I refuse to be too slow. How should I approach this? Rush through it before it breaks. I can't afford to waste time. If I go slow, I might make it across more safely, but that might take too long. That person will get... No! I refuse to let that happen. I won't let that happen. With a final reassuring breath, I basically skip onto the platform. My right foot hits the wood hard, and I immediately push off of it, throwing myself forwards before I lose any momentum. As my right foot lifts, a cracking sound rings throughout the room. I don't have time to look back, and I just force myself across the rest of the way. The tension in the air is stronger than anything else. I swear I can hear the blood rushing in my ears. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right there. I really can't go on anymore tonight. I am tired. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!